You, you, you.
What song is that?
It's the old song.
I know.
Why is mine looking like this? Oh.
You good? You do this at the beginning of every pod.
Yeah.
Your mic is never situated. It's Alex. It's Mal. Yeah. Let's get into it.
Okay.
What we got first?
Wait. So that's our intro now.
Yeah. I'm really not doing no intro anymore.
Okay. So, I'm trying to figure out if I should do this in order of the events or just what is listed on here. I guess we could start. I feel like this whole podcast, based off what I'm looking at and reading, this is going to be a podcast of us ripping apart bitter women. Bitter women are happen to fall into our age bracket and older, between the ages of 25 and like 40.
That's what this pod is all
25
about.
plus.
This pod is built on ripping apart bitter people.
No, literally all these topics have to do with bitter black women too, or just bitter people in general, like bitter people. Because the first topic is not about women, it's men, but the rest of the topics about just bitterness. So that's today's topic. It should be called bitter. There's your title.
There we go. Saving time.
So the first one, obviously, to kick it all off, is there was, I don't know what it was for, but I know Kevin Hart was asking. I don't know if you know, Kevin Hart wasn't asking a question. Kevin Hart was answering the questions also. I don't know what the interview was, but The Rock and Kevin Hart were in some type of interview, and they were asked if there could be any celebrity's pet, whose pet would they be? And The Rock like immediately was like, Meg Thee Stallion. Like he wanted to be a dog for her, like, which sounds crazy. That sounds crazy. And then I think somebody asked him to elaborate. I think it was Kevin Hart asked him to elaborate, and he was like, "Am I going to?" So I was like, "Oh, he was about to get."
First of all, The Rock being on his hands and knees is crazy.
Yeah, like you're too big. You're too.
I don't want to imagine that. I'm sure he was speaking figuratively, but I don't even want to. Jesus.
Yep. So, everybody thought it was funny. Everybody said it was respectable. It's not like he said anything crazy, right? He just, I'm gonna leave it at that. Like he kept it respectful. He answered the question, you know. And then a few days later, here comes Party, and I feel like Party has a history. Like people see it as, oh, he's like defending his girl, and like, you know, with the Tory situation, like he's always is kind of like saying stuff and like subtweeting Tory, and they was going back and forth on Twitter before. So he's just that type of guy that likes to, like, you know, obviously defend her or whatever. But sometimes I feel like he does the most, because like he was like commenting, I don't know where his comment was, but he was, you know, he was just being like, you could tell he was sensitive about it. He said something about like The Rock's wife, I guess she's mixed, like something about like worry about like the food or something. I don't want to misquote it. I forgot what his response exactly was, but it was something along the lines of like his wife being mixed, and I mean white. Is his wife white, The Rock?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with his wife.
Let me see. Ooh. Don't look at
that was
Amazon.
First of all, don't buy me anything that was just on that screen. Jesus Christ! Please do not, because
don't look at the gift.
I will throw that out. Don't buy me that.
I'm buying stuff.
No, I promise you, I'll throw it out. Don't buy me. Don't ever buy me an article of clothing.
I'm not buying clothes.
Don't buy me an article of clothing.
Don't look.
Don't buy me anything unless it's. Listen, I'll pull up the full list.
No,
hurry up!
I can't buy you.
Hurry up! You messing up the pot.
Cartier
Let's go. Cartier
watch. Okay, so I'm gonna get the exact thing that he said. He said, all our dogs are named after numbers. So I think he was just like making a joke. Just teach your wife to use seasoning, you'll be all right. Moana is my shit though. So I guess his wife is like white or something, like something about seasoning.
Interesting.
So I feel like it's like, okay, haha, but at the same time, it's like, why'd you have to say all that? It was just a joke, right? Like, relax. Like, if somebody finds your girl or your guy, like, attractive, that's a compliment to you, right? Like, I never understood the whole getting mad. He didn't disrespect you. He just said, I just want to be her pet. Like, that's it.
I think it depends. Well, The Rock's married and he said that?
Yeah.
What does the pet mean?
No, I don't know.
Because I know men remember we were watching the Pivot Show podcast, and Chan was talking about how his he pretends to be a cat.
Like, yeah, and there's a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah, people be in a certain bag. So hopefully that's not what he's talking about.
Did you see the clip?
I did see the clip.
Maybe you know how sometimes people just answer questions and nobody thinks. Maybe it was just like a quick answer, and then he just couldn't go.
Her pet. We gonna have to think about this one. He's married. I mean, I wouldn't imagine that he would have.
I mean, even if you're married, I don't think that's disrespectful to the wife either. Like,
if I said I wanted to be some other girl's pet, because you could have said, well, I mean, if you would have said a man, the internet would have torn him apart. But if I said that I wanted to be another woman's pet, because what does that mean?
Yeah. I mean, it could mean a few things. Like, it could mean like something weird. It could also mean you just want to be around, like you just want to be like a lap dog, but that's still weird. Like,
all of the context of what it can mean is weird, especially if you have a wife and if he knew that Meg was in a relationship, which he might not. I would honestly, I wouldn't think that somebody with the amount of status that the Rock has would know who Pardison Fontaine is.
He might not have known. Like, people don't realize those are like, yeah, they're all celebrities, but like that's why even Meg's response was like she grew up watching The Rock. Like, this was like obviously she's like, well, like this is like I made it moment. Mm-hmm. So they're in two different statures. Like the Rock has been relevant before like we were even born. Like he's been around like for a while.
That definition of a superstar. He's the highest paid actor in the world.
Wow. Yeah,
the past few years, so
he's on a whole different level than a low key rapper, music what's called songwriter. Like, no one, you know, party, you know, he's makes good money and he's significant in the music industry, but that's a whole different world. Like you said, he probably didn't even know because like their relationship's not super really public like that anyway. Like, so he probably that's a good point. He probably didn't even know.
Yeah, or he did know,
and just didn't care.
And and. There's something shady there because you don't know. There's so many different ways to take this, but I mean,
apparently, Party tried to double back on it. He was saying like he's just playing.
Of course, because after the response of everybody saying he's sensitive.
And look, that's not even petty though. Like, why he had to put the rock emoji?
I don't know. I mean, it's tough. I think it's one of those things because we had that conversation before on one of those pods where I was ranting for like about an hour about me wanting to fight people.
Yeah.
It's like an interesting thing because I think when everybody always says, oh, if you're a celebrity, you have money. It's almost like our conversation last week about, you know, skinny people or light-skinned women not being able to complain about certain things. And like when people have money, then they're not allowed to complain about things. Or if they have some sort of fame or celebrity, they're not allowed to complain about things or have feelings. Mm-hmm. And like, it's tough because just because you have money or some sort of fame or status doesn't mean that all of a sudden you should allow people to be disrespectful or not even disrespectful, just say whatever they want about your girl or whoever it is, your family, your kids, just because you're a notable person. So it's tough. And while I do understand him wanting to defend all the time, like I don't know how to really navigate that.
I feel like that's like part of his image now, so he feels the need to always have something to say. Like, he not even about to say anything. He could have just been like, I feel you. I think people would have respected that, right? If he just was like, I feel you, like a laughing emoji.
I don't know, because then if he did that, then people would be like, oh, you soft. Like, like you're never going to win.
No, but I think people were already coming at him anyway, because they were saying, oh, like, you let Tory do this and that and that, but then you're trying to come for this 6 foot, whatever, 200-pound man.
Yeah, it becomes tough. Because you want it, like, I don't know.
Maybe just better not to say anything. He maybe just didn't have to say anything. Yeah, but that still could get judged too, though.
Because it's the same thing about the Will Smith incident. Like, for me, you can't... For me, I need extremes when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like, defend your girl all the time to everybody or don't defend her at all.
Yeah, that's true.
And we're using the word defend as if The Rock did something to her.
Yeah, like he did something bad. Like, I think it was a little joke. Like, yeah, it could have been a little weird, especially because he has a wife. Yeah, maybe, but it's still like, you know, you could express like that you think someone's attractive without actually being disrespectful.
You could. But yeah,
like, we're all humans. People are gonna think other people look good, and that's just life.
It is what it is. It's a tough one.
And I feel like as a man and as a woman, like, you just have to, like, why would you want somebody who's not good looking and desirable? Like, I feel like that's like a comment to you. Like, I feel like you know, you have to be really insecure if you don't want that. Like, why would you not want your girl to be like, oh, like, a lot of guys want her? Like, Like, I feel like if like that reminds me of a video I just seen on TikTok. There was a video of this girl that confronted another girl at the gym, and like apparently it was a two-story gym. The boyfriend was upstairs like hiding out. I feel like, but the girl, it was on camera too. The girl confronted the other girl, and like they said they saw each other like the day before, and like they kind of like waved, and she thought they were like cool. So the other girl like the next day like saw them again and kind of just like like awkward little smile because they thought they was cool. I think like she sat near her mat or something, and they shared the space, so they kind of felt like you see the same people at the gym. You're like okay, like what's up, but then she came up to her and she was like, my boyfriend said that you was wiping your shorts in front of him and slowly bending down to pick up the weights. I'm like, first of all, imagine going to another man and saying, yeah, my girl said that you was doing this. Like, first of all, your man sounds crazy. Like, he probably was, like, tempted. Because why is your man even saying, yeah, she was rubbing her shorts? And, like, either he's a gossip or he wanted her and was seeing things. And the girl was like, wait, what? Like, okay, I always wipe my shorts. My hands get dirty from lifting. And she's like, and I was probably lifting the weights slowly because I was tired. Like, I'm getting them off the rack. Like, I wasn't, like, nobody's thinking about your man. So that's, like, basically the same situation. Like, as a girl, first of all, you're going to the gym with your man. There's going to be other girls at the gym, right? As a girl, if your man, you think he's attractive and girls are, like, talking to him, that's something to laugh off. I would have been like, oh, whatever. I'm like, if she's lifting the weights, so fine. I don't care. Like, you, at the end of the day, you're my boyfriend. You're coming home with me. Like, I just don't understand the insecurity of people. Like, just people are gonna find your boyfriend or your girlfriend attractive. Like, it's a good thing. Just laugh it off and go home. Like, it's not that deep.
I think it depends because there's the people I think that do it kind of like in a respectful way, and then there's the people that kind of don't, or they go way too extreme. So I think if we use Party for example. Meg, obviously, she has the persona that she has, and she's known for body image and things like that. And I think because of that, for whatever reason, in men's mind, and I'll never understand it, whenever they see a woman doing something like showing off her body, like in terms of like the dress, like let's say a top is cut a certain way, or shorts are a certain length, or a skirt or a dress is certain tightness, whatever it is, or they're twerking or they're doing all these different things. Immediately in a man's mind, and I don't know why, in my mind it's not like that. But for so many people, I don't even want to call them men necessarily because social media is full of kids. So, they don't get any women anyway. They immediately put these tags on women like she's a thot, like she's doing all this for internet attention and she's doing this for money, blah, blah, blah. For me, it's like super unfortunate because then you get that tag and then people make those assumptions about you and then men say whatever the fuck they want about that girl. Like,
so you think that Rox just felt comfortable saying that because she's who she is?
A little bit, but I also think that the sensitivity on Party's end is because men
cause he knows that.
Yeah, like that's what she's known. It's almost like
that's who you pick though, like,
which is true. But the unfortunate part is like, because I said this to you before, for me with certain things, it's not about the act itself. It's about the way people react to the act. So, for example, if you went out, like you said, you didn't want to run in certain shorts, right? For me, I would love to run naked because you got the breeze. It feels amazing. So you feeling insecure about wearing certain shorts, that doesn't bother me. And that's a bad example because other people's reaction to that wouldn't bother me. But like, let's say like public.
That's why when I went to that white party, I was asking you, me not wearing a bra, does it look bad?
Yeah.
And you were like, no.
I'm like, I don't care.
But that's your perception. Like, I low-key could have been judged. And obviously, like, her family was there too. So I was like, oh my God, like your grandma sitting over here, ham. My boob just swinging around. I was like, literally, I was like this the whole time. I put my jacket on, but it's like, of course you said that looked fine, but to other people they can perceive it as, oh, she's
whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, to me, it doesn't matter, but it's other people's reactions. So because of that, it's like he probably doesn't care about what she does on social media, or else he wouldn't have tried to date her, pursue her, whatever.
Yeah.
But other people's reaction is bothersome because people get to say whatever they want. Like, oh, she a thot. Like, all she do is shake ass. Like, that's all she good for. She a thot. She be around with all these blah, blah, blah. And somebody talking about that to your girl who probably isn't even like that in the first place. Like, she could be making all the twerk videos in the world, but she may have literally not be for the industry, as they say. Like she could
just be chilling. Been with like 5 people.
If that, like you really don't know at the end of the day. So it's unfortunate because it's like women can't do shit. Like you gotta be wearing a 2-piece suit as a woman for you to not be perceived that way. Like
I could not be famous.
It's unfortunate. So that's probably why he like jumps on every little thing about every time.
It just makes you look soft though. Like you know, you don't ask, like you shouldn't have dated her then. I mean, I get defending her with the whole Tory thing, right? But it's like sometimes you just look crazy doing all that.
Sometimes. But
I mean, I think it's more respectable than not.
Yeah. With certain things, like people, because like that's what I was saying. I'm like, it's unfortunate because the second a woman says anything, or like the second a woman has a certain like public perception, like I was just watching it came across my reels. It's not even like it was anybody popular, but they were like, POV, you go to a HBCU, and it was just a bunch of like the whole video was basically just an outside party in like a dorm quad or something like that. A lot of twerking, you know, it's a black event. There's gonna be a lot of that. But in a male's mind, for some reason, the second a woman does anything that's not like her standing in the corner like a statue, then immediately they get all these perceptions. Oh, she's this, she's that. I'll be able to do this. Like she for the streets. That whole like celebrity lifestyle that men that have no money or like no popularity try to get off. Like they want to feel like they relate to Future bars and Drake bars when they really don't.
It's crazy.
They just say whatever they want. Like, oh, she does blah 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 blah. I'm like, all right. It's kind of like the same thing about the hypocrisy about like men will bash porn stars when they have like when they're on a podcast or something. Like if they're talking about sex, they'll like bash them, like stay in your daughter's lives, but
they're the same ones consuming
jerking off to porn, and like it's just it's
psychotic.
Men are crazy, but because of that and the shit that they say on the internet,
I think everybody's crazy.
I could understand how someone like Party would feel away, even if you do have someone like Meg Thee Stallion.
Like I said, the Tory thing makes sense because like that's somebody that harmed your girl, and that's somebody that's harming her in public. You know, like saying all these things. The Rock situation is different. That's somebody basically commenting your girl, and you kind of feeling away. You know, like
he might feel.
One thing to defend your girl, it's another thing to basically defend yourself. Because that's kind of what he was doing.
It might be like might end up being like the Will Smith situation where like he's the butt of all these jokes and stuff like that.
He's becoming that. The way that everybody was coming at him when this happened, the tweets were wild. People were like just coming at him crazy. Like I was like, oh, what did he say? He must have became at The Rock crazy. And when I found out this is all he said, I was like, oh, like you guys were doing a lot, like on Twitter. The way people were like clowning him, I was like, oh.
They're probably just clowning him literally because the Tory thing is like, you know, popping shit on Twitter, and then of course nothing happens. Nothing is gonna happen.
Nothing's gonna happen.
Like, what do you expect? It's like people are weird, right? Because now if he slid on Tory and killed him, then now it's like, God, he's so dumb, like black on black crime. All right, let's go to something else. Let's go to something else because people just be getting on my nerves.
You were stupid.
Black on black crime. I know. You threw away your whole life. Because y'all dumbasses on the internet was like,
pressuring him to pull up.
You ain't slide on Tory though. I know.
Stupid.
That's our community.
Yep.
Never make any progress around here. What else we got?
It's always funny looking at my notes because I just write them so vague. It's cute kids. Wait, I didn't mean to say bigger. Oh, I meant to say bitter. That sounds crazy. So yeah, the next thing is, this is recent. So you know, because we're former college students, this is college moving time. So every August I kind of get a little like, damn, I'm getting old, because every August is another year of life just passing us by.
Yeah, days are over.
You know, fun fact for anybody, in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks will be 8 years since we met.
Stop touching me.
But anyway, yeah, so everybody knows it's like college moving times. A lot of stuff's happening on social media. We're starting to see the videos. Like, we live in a whole different world now, even from when we were in college. Like, you know, we have college moving videos probably on Vine and people posting their little Facebook videos and Twitter. But now with TikTok and just everybody wanting to go viral, it's a whole different world.
Go college shopping with me at Target. Yeah,
like,
all
I'm
that type
seeing
of shit.
so much. I'm like, this is overwhelming. I don't know if I could be in college right now.
Let me jump in. I think that I like that shit a lot. I like that, and I'm the opposite of bitter when it comes to this type of stuff. Yeah. I love the fact that we're gonna be in an age where people are able to document everything.
That's true.
Their whole experience. Show a full movie, and we could too.
We could, but a lot of my stuff got destroyed when my MacBook crashed. But imagine it was on TikTok.
Yeah.
Or Snapchat memories exist, and it didn't exist when we were in college. Yeah. The first half, so I was like.
I think it'll help people too. Like, as much as I hate TikTok as, it being a data farming harvesting platform. I think it'll help a lot of people that will have a tough time transitioning into college because they'll be able to just watch somebody else's TikTok and maybe some idea of how to decorate their dorm room or something like that, or how to make friends is going to help them. So I think it's definitely cool that this generation is able to live vicariously, before they get there, and then they actually get there, and then they're still able to share
we weren't open to this much, you would see stuff from TV shows or your cousins or pictures of people who went to school before you did on Facebook, but you're seeing blurry videos, but you're literally seeing people doing day in their lives every day. You're seeing everything.
Yeah,
I wonder how it looks on college campus now too, right? Imagine
phones everywhere.
Cause we had our phones out, obviously. I'm not we're that far removed, but people weren't recording themselves studying in the library, But now we're gonna see that
setting up the phone over there and then running back and pretend like you're reading.
Yeah, that's probably so crazy seeing all that stuff happening.
But yeah, go ahead, get back into the.
But yeah, the main reason I brought this up is now that as college moving time, we're starting to see videos of the freshmen getting onto their campuses and having their first parties and stuff. So there was this girl. I'm not sure what school it is. I like to get my facts, so maybe I'll try to pull it up real quick. But there was a girl who was at a party. It was her first night. And I guess it's I think whatever school this was, they call it freshman week. Yeah, this is not, I'm not gonna be, oh wait, Clark Atlanta. Okay, see, found it easily. So yeah, it was a Clark Atlanta student, for anybody who doesn't know, it's HBCU. I actually drove by there because I was gonna look at the campus, and then my mom was like, no. The second we got there, she was like, no. Cause it's in Atlanta, literally around, it was just kind of, ugh. But, so this is the times where, you have your freshman events or whatever. So there was an event on campus, and they were saying that the guy in the video was a senior, and the girl was incoming freshman. So I think that's kind of a little bit of the conversation piece. She was 18, 19. I think this guy was 21 or 23, which I get, because it's all right. It is a little bit, but he probably didn't know. But if it was a freshman event, then he might have known.
As long as she wasn't 17.
Yeah, I think she was actually might be 19. Because some people are older when they're freshmen. And yeah, they were at a party. The Q's were doing what they always do, and they kissed at the party. And I'm it was.
Nah, you gotta put more sauce on it.
They just kissed.
Nah, look at how Yahoo captured. First of all, it being on Yahoo is funny.
Well, see, but that's another thing that's included in this conversation. People like to use the monkeypox and COVID thing as a reason that they're so concerned. I'm you're just lying. Stop.
Does monkeypox even exist in anywhere, any other part of the country except New York?
I don't think so. I don't think monkeypox is even really going to be that big of a deal as people are trying to make it. People wanted it to be COVID part 2. They're looking for handouts. They want stimulus checks again because they don't got money. They want to do PPP scams, unemployment checks. There's just people looking for a handout, and they want this to be COVID part 2, and it's not going to be. It's not a deadly disease.
Gotcha.
But yeah. This is Yahoo. Yeah, the fact that it's on Yahoo is wild.
Twitter reacts to Clark Atlanta students swapping saliva in viral video.
Can you imagine your first day on campus and you're going viral? And look, she's so nasty. I mean, you already saw the video, but I'll play it again.
Well,
so yeah.
Obviously, nobody watching has any context or is able to see the video.
Yeah, but you could just look it up.
But
so yeah, I just feel the reaction was so dramatic. First of all, it's 3 different sections, right? You have the younger people and the people who were there, obviously, who are Gen Z, 18, so shocked about this because you're in college, you're seeing this thing for the first time, so you're kind of exaggerating how so nasty, as compared to us looking back and be that's nothing. I've literally seen people having sex in a closet, when we were at parties. I've seen a lot worse than people kissing. That's the bare minimum. You will see people kissing at parties all the time. That's normal. That's people kiss at high school parties. People kiss anywhere. Like, people kissing is not crazy.
I've seen a lot worse shit in high school.
You said you used to see people do, like, behind the stairs.
Yeah, people used to have sex in high school.
Like, come on. And you guys are freaking out about this. So that, for me, that's, like, dramatic. And number two, you had the people who never went to college. So they just want to find a reason to hate and be like, oh, nasty. This is what you guys are doing on college. Just people who were bitter. And then you had the people who did go to college, just bitter, older, mostly women, who just bitter. Like, you guys know you was doing way worse during your college years. Like, it's just, I'm so confused.
Either they were doing way worse or they weren't. And they're mad.
And they're mad that they didn't live out their years. Like, they feel like they should have.
Because this young gentleman is swollen, as a Q normally is. He probably could bag every woman in there.
I can't tell.
I'll give him my gentlemanly respect. And they probably mad that they couldn't have that same sort of interaction.
Yeah, like, right. Nasty. Like, it's not like, and who knows what happened after the video, but it's not like they literally had sex in the middle of the freaking quad or whatever they were.
And I get it. Like, you could get herpes in the mouth. Yeah, they're a stranger. I get it. But like, we grown. Like, we gotta stop. I think there's like a weird thing, right? We do this whole thing about, especially in the U.S., where it's like it's like weird. So overseas, from what I understand, they're a lot more open with things like public nudity and sex and stuff like that, which almost desexualizes sex in a way. Mm-hmm. Over here, everything is so over-sexualized, like the TV and movies and all that kind of stuff. I don't feel like they do that over there, so it's not as like weird or taboo. So it's like over here, it's like, it's just like I just don't understand the. Like, this to me is not anything.
It's not. Like, and my whole thing is too, like, it's just, I feel like it's like hypocrisy, because like, we talked about this on the podcast maybe a few months ago. There was that college student who committed suicide. I don't know if you remember that girl. She made that whole social media post about.
Yeah.
And we talked about it on here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you have people, especially in the black community, because I was a black girl, who was, oh, so sad. Look, check out me, your strong friends doing that. But now you guys are literally publicly embarrassing this girl. Like, yeah, she still kissed the person in public, but for this to go viral, now you have all these women, like, who are, this girl's a young, like, you know, she's still a teen. You're a young adult / teen. Like, you're in your teen years, technically, 18, 19, is still teen. You have all these girls, women, who are in their late 20s, early 30s, late 30s, 40s, probably a whole spectrum, bashing this girl online. Like, you guys are a grown woman bashing a child, but then you was the same people crying, oh my God, check on your strong friends, R.I.P. Like, it's like, but you guys literally are bullying a girl because if she kissed a guy.
This shit is super light.
A kiss? Like you girls wasn't giving it up to, like, men that you met in a freaking store, in a parking lot. Like, and still are.
Yeah, it's
not married, not in a long-term relationship, single at home, mad at a 19-year-old doing what you're supposed to do in college, having fun. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, you should be mindful with STIs or just, you know, just infectious diseases in general. But people act like they're all holier than thou. Like, they don't do that. Like, you guys literally go swap drinks with your friends and hookahs and all that other stuff every weekend. Like, please.
If it was something else, I can understand.
Sharing a blunt with 6 people, please. Like, let's stop.
But this one wasn't it.
It wasn't it. Like, I was like thinking she did something crazy. I'm like, that was it. She had picked up and kissed.
And I've seen Q's do a lot worse than that.
Yeah, they act like he was like in there like fingering her or something. Like, I was like, that's it, a kiss.
Even getting the picked up thing, like.
That's what they do though. Like, I mean, there's my whole thing is these are 2 consenting adults. She could have been like, no, I'm not comfortable. She went for it. These are 2 consenting adults. They're trying to use his age as saying it's weird because he's 21 or 22, 23. I don't know how old he is. But I'm like, is it weird? Maybe, but not really. Like, you're an adult. Like, and not like she was. I don't know if she's freshly 18.
And we confirmed that she's actually 18 and a freshman.
I seen that she was 19 and a freshman. Either way, you're an adult. And I mean, if it was a freshman party, he might have known that. But still,
acting like he got her pregnant. Like, I don't understand.
And act like he's like 40 or 30.
I don't understand the backlash. It's definitely bitter women. Mm-hmm. Either jealous that they didn't have that experience themselves, because they didn't go to college, or they did go to college and nobody wanted them, nobody attractive wanted them, nobody on the football team.
They have regrets. They're probably married and upset that they didn't get to live their life.
or they just recently got out of school and they're tight because they couldn't have that experience. Like
maybe because COVID too. I feel bad for
or whatever the reason is, they just didn't have that experience. So it's definitely also an age thing, as if we haven't heard legendary stories about how sick it was before cameras were popular.
Yeah, even what's that thing that everybody always talks about?
Freaknik?
Yeah. And that cameras were like there, but that's probably stuff we didn't even see that happened.
Of course, and that's the part that
many decades have done probably way worse.
That's the part that blows me. It's not like all of a sudden, like in our generation, people just figured out what sex was, and everybody before just, whoa, what is that? What are you doing over? Like, are we joking? Like,
it's really psychotic to me. Like I was literally in shock, like by social media's reaction. Like I literally was in shock. Like
over a kiss.
I saved this video. I'm gonna show you. I thought it was good. So it's like this girl, I could put it for people here, but this girl said, "Where is that girl mama at? She kissed that cue as if she's been waiting for that her whole life, right?" But then this is the girl's mom. Oh, that's not.
See, this is the thing about black women, and I love us, but let that girl live in her truth. That's why people think we are angry, because we just be sitting here judging people for stupid stuff. She is 19 and at Spelman. I hope by the end of the semester she get 20 dicks and straight A's. Let that girl be happy. What do you expect somebody
she might have been
to
a Spelman, just there.
Spelman with a bunch of Q dogs barking in their face? Have you ever been barked at by a Q dog?
No.
Everybody fumbles. She just got caught. Let her live.
If that's even a fumble, like
and like that was what she wanted to do. Like let her live and enjoy her life. Like people are so uptight.
Why did not kill the guy?
That's what people were saying, like, oh, let's kill him too. And that's, and then you had the I Hate Men crusade. Oh, he's a predator. Like, I was like,
all right, let's move on to something else.
Please send the flood.
We're not doing it.
I'm ready. No,
we're not doing it.
We need a fresh start, because there's cuckoos on this planet.
No shit. Like, let's have an honest conversation. Yeah, no shit. That's what men are on this planet, and any sort of species on the planet, that's what men do. Men are predatory. Predatory is different from, like, you can separate something like pedophilia, and I also learned that there's actually different types of pedophilia. I learned that pedophilia actually only refers to a certain age group, and that there's different other forms. Like, I'm just gonna make up some shit like metaphilia, like whereas it's like ages like 9 to like 12 or something else. I actually learned that from a comedic sketch, which is pretty interesting.
I think that's the problem. Is like we get so many words, everything just gets mixed, and so then when people hear predator, is instantly, oh, rapist, oh, like creep, pedophile. Like I said, predator is just a term for it.
Somebody that pursuing something, and you could use the word prey if you want, but that's how it works in the animal kingdom. That's how it works.
Yeah,
like just
not always a bad thing.
Just because somebody's pursuing somebody else doesn't mean that, like, he ain't raped the girl.
Yeah,
on a damn.
And it was consent. Like, if anything, in the video, it looked like she went in for it. The kiss. Like, if she was like, pushing away, and he was
look at what we're talking about.
A kiss. Like, I'm like, you guys must.
I'm gonna sound like Allen Iverson. Kiss?
Like, for real?
We talking about a kiss?
And that's why I love that people are on Twitter though defending her too. Like, you guys are lucky there was no videos around, because I've seen. Like, that's why when I first heard all this, I'm like, I seen it. Like, I know you guys aren't talking. Like, I know some of you people aren't talking. When I seen with my 2 eyes what you was doing, like. That wasn't that long ago. Like, our senior year was 4 years ago. We're not that far removed from college. It's been 4, 5, 6 years. Like,
that's the part.
I've seen what you were doing. I've seen you catch all those bodies back to back to back to back. Like, let's not. Let's not.
Yeah.
This craziness. Like, I'm like you said, the fact that we're really talking about the kids is like, I'm really wrapping my mind. And then, like I said, people are trying to use, but it's COVID and monkeypox. Like I said, you guys are in packed out clubs every weekend, but now it's monkeypox and COVID. You traveling to mad different cities and islands and eating at restaurants and out with your friends and sharing.
But time out. Hold on.
But now you're concerned about COVID.
Even if it is, then so what?
Yeah, because, so what? Like, so people are not allowed to continue just.
Like, now we gotta all just die because COVID exists. Like, how many other diseases exist besides COVID? Isn't even a disease. How many other viruses exist? The flu.
Yeah.
Like smallpox still exists. Chickenpox. All those things still exist.
People act like this is some new, like.
What the hell?
Ooh, we gotta watch out. Like,
no, we don't.
People just, and like, even before there was COVID and monkeypox, like you said, the other stuff existed, but STIs always exist. They always are out there. And you guys are like, just stop. Like, you guys just are sounding bitter and trying to make every excuse to cover up the fact that you're a jealous, old, bitter, washed woman. And I hate to see it because we're like about to be 26, so we're seeing it. Like I'm literally seeing our people that we are peers becoming that.
They're becoming
these bitter women,
cranky grandparents. Yeah. It's like at 25 years old, it's crazy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We're the youngest in our age group. For anybody who doesn't know, September,
like,
October,
you under 30.
Everybody's in at 26, 27 now at this point.
And the shit that is always mind-boggling about people that have these sorts of like extreme stances on things is like you said before, like I've seen what you do. Yeah. Like we've seen it. Like. It's the same thing about like the women that like I only date guys that are 6'7", and you just seen them with like somebody that's 5'7". I'm like I never understood.
That'd be the funniest thing when you see women like make these whole rants about what their type is. And I'm like,
I see your work.
But look who you settled for, because you knew you couldn't get that list that you wanted, because you don't even match what that guy wants. Like, so you had to settle for the guy shorter than you.
We got 2 kids that are in school for the purpose of bettering themselves.
Yep.
And a video was recorded of them kissing, and now all of a sudden the whole public wants to have some sort of crazy opinion and that she's nasty and she all this. Like, come on. Like, what are we doing? Like, there's way worse shit going on. Like, let's just not be hypocritical. Even if you didn't personally engage in those types of things in school, like, it's light. Like,
even
why
if
do
you
you think
agree with it? Like,
why do you think you're here? Like,
yeah.
Like, what do you think the people that birthed
that'd be the funny
doing?
part too. Is like, I'm like, you guys are all talking like you wasn't born out of wedlock. Like your parents aren't married. Like, please.
And even if they were,
like your mom got 6 baby daddies, and you got like 10 million half siblings. Please, because I don't got no half siblings. Like my mom was just have her 3 kids with my dad, and that was it. So like I just hate this holier than thou thing that people like to have. Like you're so holy and like high and mighty.
When people really don't have anything to show for it.
Like I know girls in my high school who got trains ran on them in the forest. Like, let me make sure she didn't tweet nothing, because I would have been like, sis, let's not forget what happened.
and that's so much of
allegedly. I don't know.
And there's so many scenarios like that.
Like, so many.
Yeah.
And you guys are mad at a girl having her friend.
Kiss?
She's like, this is craziness.
Let's move on to something else.
But like I said, we're going to keep coming at these bitter women, because the next subject was this 29-year-old man who's dating a 22-year-old, and a tweet went viral. I like to find the exact tweets for these things.
She had it was lined up. Gang.
I know. I'm sorry. This must be my job too.
But essentially for everybody.
It's like the age gap thing. So yeah, this was the tweet that went viral. Dudes be 29 trying to mess with a 22-year-old, then want to talk about women not bringing anything to the table. Nigga, she just got the high chair. So they started a whole conversation about how, like, a lot of men were saying, and this is kind of what Kevin Samuels was saying, a lot of men were saying that they date down because women their age tend to have a lot of emotional baggage that they carry with them. They're very, what would you call them, damaged. Like, and people take that too seriously. They're not really talking in a physical sense, like, washed or used, but more so like they say you're damaged goods, like you're been through so many relationships, you haven't healed, stuff like that. And I still think, okay, it's kind of hypocritical, because as a man that age, the same could go for you. But that's what they were saying, and they were saying from like a biological standpoint, like your biological clock is ticking. Once you reach that 30 range, I think 35, you enter high risk pregnancy territory. So you kind of do, as a woman, should be having your kids before a certain age. And it's like, as a man, you our whole point is to procreate. So you're gonna just naturally gravitate towards fertile woman. That's just life. So I feel like this girl was bitter for this. Like, she just got off the high chair. Like, 22, like, yeah, 22 is still young, but like, why are you trying to be funny? Like, trying to make it sound like 22 is such a young, like, it's just, I hate this bitterness. It's so many black women are just bitter. Bitter. And sorry, the last point I want to make too, it's funny, like I said, this is what Kevin Samuels was saying. A lot of women have this whole mindset, I'm working on myself, I got time, this is this. Now they're getting into the late 20s, they're realizing, damn, maybe I didn't have time, because now nobody's choosing me no more, right? Like, now you're not getting picked. And like, now they're hating on the young girls are getting picked because you're single, you're a single late 20-year-old. And like I said, you hate to see it, because I seen somebody person who I know on Twitter who quoted this tweet and was like, like kiki and laughing, because she's single and she's in her late 20s. And it's like, yeah, it's funny because you're just mad, right? Because it's like I said, there's always this whole, I got time, I don't need no man, I'm young, I'm in my 20s, I got time. It's always, I got time, until you realize you don't. And now you're looking around and now you're mad because men in your age category aren't looking at you anymore. They don't want you. You're damaged. You're bitter. You're not fertile. Like.
Yeah. So the age range that she specifically put out, I don't personally know if I would do 29. Like if I was 29, I don't personally know if I would pursue a 22-year-old. I don't think I would have anything necessarily. Like, I don't think that they would be able to provide anything. So, like, I do get it in that sense.
That's what people are saying. Like, at 22, like, at 22, we were kind of doing good in life, though. We got our full-time jobs that we currently have. I had a master's. Like,
that is true. Damn.
Yeah. We started our jobs at 22, and I had my master's at 22. It just depends on who you are.
Yeah.
Like, 22, not all 22-year-olds are bums. Like, there are 22-year-olds that are bums and not doing nothing with their lives. We was doing something. So
I was out here. I was definitely commuting to New York. Yeah, still
literally.
Every day.
Yep.
Literally every day. That was before COVID days.
Yep. Commuting to work, then going to class and come back home doing it all over again, like full time, both.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe I'll.
I think it depends on who you are. I mean, you're still kind of emotionally and mentally young.
I would have to see me at 29.
Yeah, and
then come back.
Because at 29, you could be way.
Listen, I might be all the way out of here. Like it might be real different. But I do agree. I think that the baggage thing is the biggest portion of that, because I think that women, and I hate to generalize, but it's just a common theme that I see. So I'll speak to it as it just being a common theme, not applicable to everybody. Mm-hmm. But I think that there's a weird, it's not weird. I think that there's a what would be the word? You know, like when women go through that like teenage growth phase?
Yeah.
I think that there's a growth phase during like the college years, and then the years after college, like maybe I would say
like between age 22 to like 25.
Yeah.
26.
Where I think that women are trying to like fight between I want to be the baddest girl on the internet, and I want to just attract all these guys, and I want all these guys to have money and want me, blah, blah, blah. It's like kind of like the city girls, like wanting the city girl's life. Mm-hmm. But then you want it so badly, and then maybe you did that for 2 or 3 years, and now you're in your late 20s, and now it's like, well, where's everybody?
And that's the thing too. People were saying that, like, they spend those years doing that. Now you're in your late 20s and you're looking around. Your friends are married. Your friends are going to family trips. Your friends are having their first kids, and you're like, damn, I wasted my 20s not even establishing any type of relationship, like, for the family that I do want one day. Like, did you guys not eventually want a family? And I get you could do these things in your 30s. I get that, but then don't be mad when it's not working in your favor, because that's just the biological way of life.
Because you have to pick one, and that's
you have
the
to
thing.
Pick one.
You can't be out here and have a family simultaneously. So if
you want to be out here, do that in college though. Niggas want to be.
If you want to be out here, then be out here,
well,
regardless, no matter what time it is, whether it's in college or out of college. If you want to be the city girl and guys are buying me all this stuff and they're buying me drinks and
live in that. Because there's women who are perfectly fine with that, being that they love that lifestyle, and I'm all for it if that's what they want. But then if you want that lifestyle, but then you're upset now when you're in late 20s and you're, damn, my friends going on family trips and they're moving into their homes and
sorry. Because the thing is,
you can't have both.
Because here's the hypocritical.
I mean, you could, but
here's the hypocrisy of men, and this might be confusing to women. So guys like women, guys that are just trying to like have some sort of physical relationship with a woman, they don't with a woman, they don't care how dotty she may be on the internet, how loose she may be, she twerking all in every single video. Men don't care about that if they just want something physical. But that shouldn't be then confused with these men want me for real, because that's not the case. Yeah. So you could be doing
you should know the difference at a certain age.
Like all these I hate to use the word IG model, but like that, like the escorts on Instagram, like they're only wanted for something physical. They're never like, you don't see them having kids with any of the rappers, like for real. Like they really don't. Nobody's
bagging them. Nobody's claiming them. Nobody's
right.
And they might spend their money on them because they have the money to spend. And for celebrities, like, they'll be buying all these flowers, but I don't mean they like the girl. That's just their way of getting them. They got money, so we see the house. Oh, he brought her all those flowers. He in love. I don't know.
Not necessarily.
He just got millions of dollars, so he could spend that. Just to get what he wanted sexually.
Right. So if you're one of those girls that's doing all the I'm trying to attract everybody because of my body's this and I'm taking all these pictures, whatever. If you want to put out that energy, you're going to attract that energy and you're going to get it. But you can't then try to switch and like you can't lead with that, because that's the same thing about with everything. Like a man that leads with money is only going to lead to gold diggers.
Yeah.
So what you lead with is is the end result you're going to get.
And people don't want to admit that. Like, it's crazy. They don't want to admit that.
If you lead with, yo, I'm established and I want a family, you're going to find somebody that has that same mentality.
Yeah, like you attract what you give out naturally.
But you can't be like naked on IG and then try to start a family simultaneously, because the person that wants to start a family and you want to be naked on IG is never going to mix. Like, it has to be a combined goal.
And for some people, it might be a rare case that there were guys that don't care, and that's just they're gonna wipe the thought and they're gonna start a family, and the girl is just being a thought just for money and not necessarily to get the guys or the attention that comes with it. But I feel like it's rare. It's not as common as people want it to be.
Yeah, 22 isn't off the high chair.
It's not off the high chair. I'm like, I don't know what you guys were doing at 22, but I had 2 degrees and I was working at Prudential and I was a financial account reporting associate, like making really good money. So I don't know what you guys were doing, but that's what I was doing. I just bought my first car, but no help. Like, I
get her sentiment, but
I mean, I get it, but it's like you sound bitter. Like, you didn't have to add that part about the high chair at the end. Like, you didn't have to add that part. And then, look, I seen this. It could have started a whole discourse. Like, somebody was saying, like, he'd rather help a 22-year-old pay for college than helping a 29-year-old woman raise her 5 of his kids. I'm like, this is the reality. Like, I mean, I get it. Like, I get it for the fact that, like, as a man, like, okay, that seemed like an easy out. Like, you could do all this. You could have been a part of all that damage to a woman's life and did all this stuff. And then now you're just jumping to a younger woman. And a younger woman's going to take you because a lot of younger women like older men and then see them as like a money pick. But at the same time, it's like, I get it though. Like, a lot of older women do come with a lot of baggage, baby daddy drama. But so do older men. Older men be coming with that same stuff. So it is kind of hypocritical.
I was saying the same thing, but I think I said this offline. I think that the baggage that men carry is different than the baggage that women carries. Like, I think that men do carry baggage to a certain extent, but I don't think it's in the same way that women do. Like, we were speaking privately. Mm-hmm. A woman will have a bad experience with like, because you see it all the time. Like, a black woman will have a bad experience with a black man, and now it's I hate black men forever. Yeah. Right? Black men don't really have that same experience. Or just men in general. I don't think men...
Not really. I mean, they kind of do a little bit, though. Like, the black men that bash black women and like white women.
There's some instances...
It's usually because their mom and their aunt, like a lot of trauma at home. Yeah. Or just self-hatred.
I do want to generalize it, but like just men in general. I think that men carry less baggage. Even if like there was something traumatic that happened to them in the relationship, I don't think that they carry it in the same way that a girl does, like a woman does. Yeah. Like that whole I hate my ex culture thing, where it was like the quirky thing to say, and everybody hates their ex. Like, I think that's a woman thing, and I could understand how a man dating, especially a older woman that's experienced, probably, especially if you after you get to a certain age, you probably had sex with a lot more people. Mm-hmm. Not that has anything to do with, like, it's not a physical thing so much as it is like a emotional thing, because I think women are more attached emotionally during those sorts of things. Mm-hmm. And if like she really started liking somebody and then he just got what he wanted and dipped, like multiple times that happened to her, like she's gonna probably be a lot to deal with emotionally. And a lot of
women don't do their due diligence and go get therapy and go heal themselves,
because it's always somebody else's fault.
Yeah. And then like that, like they're sitting there in their 30s. It's always somebody's fault. Like, you're in your situation that you're in now. Oh, it's his fault. It's his fault. No, maybe you gotta look in and look at maybe what did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong?
Bad selection.
And now it's funny too, because it's kind of like I didn't really write this as a topic, but now they're looking up to Lori Harvey, who's like half their age, who's just came out with an interview saying how she dates on her own terms, and when something's not for her anymore, she just ends it. And I'm like, I could respect that. Like, people like to say what they say about her, but if like it's not what you see for yourself, bye. instead of her being in her 30s, 40s, like she said, she almost was married. Like instead of her being at that age in a bitter marriage for decades, and now you're mad at the world and mad at men and hate your husband, your ex-husband. It's like, take accountability for your life. Like, this is your life. We don't even know if we have another life after this. Like, if reincarnation or anything is real, like, this could be the only life. Like, like you could have lived this stuff into like and make it like the best experience, and you guys just going.
A 29-year-old telling you about horoscopes is different than like a 22-year-old telling you about horoscopes.
Yeah.
Don't come to me as like a 32-year-old woman telling me about my rising sun and setting moon and all that kind of shit. Mm-hmm. Like all of that type of stuff they get in their mind too about like, oh, all Capricorns have done me wrong.
Yeah,
forever.
And then they hate Capricorns. Like grow up. Like are we 10? Grow up.
Yeah, we ain't doing that.
This was something else said. They didn't know 22-year-old with a job, place to live in, dry as 29-year-old who's a bum who cries. I say I might pick her up. Like, that's why, like, I mean, age difference, I feel like only makes sense more so where it's like emotionally, because age difference doesn't always make a difference when it comes to where you are in life. Because I know people who are like our age who are just getting their bachelor's, like, when it's been 4 years ago for me. So it's like, you know, people who are making nothing, still living with their parents at 29. We moved out at 24. So age only really matters, I think, for mentality and life experience.
Yeah, there's people older that's still on their parents' phone plan.
Yeah, like
the parents still paying their car insurance. Like, what is age really?
Yeah, right.
Because
like, I was paying like all my bills pretty much at 22. Except the only thing I wasn't paying for at that point was living, like rent, because I was still living at home.
And let me clarify, because I'm not saying age doesn't play a factor, and because that does sound a little weird, but I mean in the sense that in this comparison specifically, 29 to 22, like the people are saying, like a 29-year-old making $30K a year, like,
and there's 22-year-olds making 100 something.
Right. Like I made more than that at 22, like more than double that at 22. Yeah. So like, I don't know how much age in that bracket really changes, especially somebody that like nobody wants to hear about your like.
Don't really about all your exes and all your
experiences
stories
and all. Everybody done me wrong my whole life. Like I know.
I got trust issues. I got trust issues.
I know you do. Go to therapy, you fucking psycho. Let's move on.
The last thing I want to say too with that category is, isn't it funny though when it's the other way around? It's gassed up. Because everybody was saying with Carisha and
get your
Diddy,
money.
Yeah, she's living her best life, and she's like a little older than us, 28, and he's like 50 something. She's living her best life. Yes, I love them. So cute goals. But now you guys are saying that 22-year-olds need to give up the high chair because you're just mad. Like, when it doesn't, like, that's the thing about so many women and black women specifically are such hypocrites. Because when it doesn't revolve around their scope, it's just, you know, they bash it. Like,
I feel like
you're calling a 22-year-old basically a child, but you're gassing up a 28-year-old and a 50-year-old. Like, that's not weird.
It's that ignorance, like, and that's where
like,
I had to be like I got really humbled. Hopefully you've seen that. I got really humbled. Like, first time I really got humbled was definitely 2014. That was the first time I really ever got humbled. 2014, probably like November. Right.
So fall semester.
Yeah.
What happened? You talking about the school situation?
Me about to get kicked out of school.
Oh, yeah.
Humbled me for real. And I feel like people.
You were 1 month into the age of 18,
right? And
changed your life and changed your ways that early. Like.
But I'm saying, like, I think that I had to go through several times of me being humbled. I think there were other instances. I'm not gonna share them here, but there were probably like 2 or 3 other times where, like, I was all the way up here. That thing happened freshman year. Yeah. Knocked down a peg. Some other things happened over the course of my life. Knocked down 3, 4, 5, 6 pegs to the point where I'm here now, to the point where I don't even like talking. I don't really even talk a lot anymore. Like, doing this podcast is a miracle.
You like talking to me though.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. We talk all the time.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
It's just like this podcast. You talk and I just sit here.
No, you babe. You like talking. Sometimes you be talking.
I got knocked down like a ton of pegs, and then because I got knocked down a ton of pegs, and realized that I'm not important. I have no role or importance in this world.
Yeah, you do. You have importance in my life. You have importance in your mom's
life. Please let me get to my point. You're trying to be too nice. Like, seriously. I'm
not being nice. Realistic. You still have importance in people's life. Like, if you were to die today, like, a lot of people would be devastated. Like,
I'm sure they would, but in the scheme of life, I'm saying, like, if I die right now, nobody in India is gonna know.
Well, yeah, in the big scheme of things,
that's what I'm saying.
Respect
that's what
in
I'm
this
saying.
universe.
But people don't act that way. So when people formulate these opinions they're mad about everything that is outside of their little bubble of what they enjoy, right? It's like the people like the people that like drive American sports cars, like they hate any sort of foreign anything just because their whole scope is just American sports cars. Like there aren't some amazing, beautiful, like miracle engineered race cars in other countries that are built. Like
they're just so pressed.
They're so pressed, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like me having to get knocked down a peg and humbled opened me up to a whole new world of being able to be wrong and
but
being
you know
able
what's
to
crazy?
change.
A lot of people don't get to that point ever.
That's what I'm saying.
And they die bitter and old and undeveloped and no self-awareness.
They won't know that they're bitter either.
People in their 50s and 60s still perpetuate a lot of the stuff that you see online. It's like, damn. Like, at least we learned this young. Like, we were about to have a good life because we learned this stuff young. Like, these people are, like, in their 50s, 60s, still with no self-awareness, like, no, like, I was wrong, fault, like, you know, just realizing what you did and then changing their lives and changing their ways. Like, it's crazy to see it. And you would think certain, I mean, I think maybe our generation would be different. They might be humbled faster because of the social media world.
It's going to be worse.
But you see it a lot more, though. Like, if you can't fake a house. Like, you remember how you were saying people could fake flex up to a certain point? But now that gap is starting to widen. Remember we were talking about the widening of the gap years ago? It's starting to happen. Like, we literally got a trip to Dubai next month. Like, a lot of people aren't doing that. Like, the gap is starting to widen. We're going to get to a point where we start making a lot more money, get to a nice house. That stuff is going to happen in the next 5 years. And you can't fake that. You can't fake a marriage. You can't fake a happy relationship. I mean, you can fake a happy relationship, but you can't fake certain things. So I think people are going to be humbled when they can't keep up anymore and they don't look like they're equals on social media.
I disagree because I agree but disagree. And the reason why I agree is because, yes, that's true. But I disagree because we're in a place where everything is an excuse. There's always an excuse for why somebody...
Inflation.
Yeah, right. Like inflation matters to you.
COVID.
Like, okay, your bread went up 50 cents. Like, all right. Like,
inflation, the reason you couldn't get a good job. No, maybe because you picked a degree in arts and crafts. Like,
and not to be insensitive, and I don't know why you always go to arts and crafts, because there's plenty of business majors that are asking me to help them get jobs. But
yeah, but that's because
I know
they picked like marketing or something.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Accounting is so easy to get a job in. Like, humbly speaking, it was so easy.
But no, you threw off my point.
You saying people always have excuses for why the reason?
Yeah, people have excuses no matter what. So even if there is a discrepancy and this person is like, we're all the way up here and some people all the way down here, it'll be a reason for it. Like,
they were privileged. They grew up in the suburbs. Their parents probably helped them. No, my parents haven't helped me with nothing. Nothing. Just putting out there. Sorry. But yeah, it's always like an excuse. Like, yeah, the tuition is so high. Student loans. COVID, right? Inflation.
It'll be something.
You see adults now with those same excuses. You'll be like, oh, well, why don't you have, like, good equity in your house? Oh, because the mortgage. And there's always something. It's like... Biden's fault. Trump is like, it's always some excuse. Trump's the reason I don't have a home. Yeah, okay. Is it the reason, or is it because you didn't save your money and you spent it on like stupid stuff? Is it because you have bad spending habits, or is it Biden's fault?
Yeah. To get back to my original point is like, just being humbled and realizing the world will revolve. Whether you're here or not, some people will cry when you die, but the world will keep spinning, and they'll die too. So
such a sad reality.
Like, so you being in your bubble and everything outside of your bubble, you hate and bash, and you're not well traveled, so you haven't experienced all different cultures, and your scope is just whatever it is. Because it's okay to like who you are and your personality and your makeup and things that you like. Those are perfectly fine, but like. Just because something else is different doesn't mean that it's like wrong or that you can
or it's
kill it.
Weird. Yeah, like
there's more to life than you.
That's why, like, even talking about, like, remember how we always, like, I've been having this conversation for years, the whole 50-50 rent thing. People are starting to be humbled in that way. They're seeing it's expensive out here. So you guys was clowning 50-50 relationships. We good.
And it's the people
my bank account has been literally in the same a couple. I have like, I'm not even gonna say how many thousands I have in my checkings, but it literally stays in the same like range because I'm not flinching at all because I'm smart with my money. And like, you guys want to say, well, you want by 50-50 relationships, and like, I'm not doing 50-50. But now you're 28 and still at home. So you wasn't doing 50-50. And then what did that do for you? Nothing.
Or they aren't doing 50-50 and they live in the projects.
Yeah. And they got to go outside and be like this.
Go ahead. Do that.
Duck and cover.
Do that 100-0 if you want. I know you ain't getting 100-0 living in the Hamptons. I know that ain't happening for you.
That's the thing. Like, people are being humble in that way. Like, you guys want to say so much about 50-50 and how you wasn't doing 50-50.
I seen what cars y'all driving.
50-50, I'm chilling. Making accounts thriving. Like, because we're being smart, because like that's the reality of the world we live in. You guys want to be so cocky and in this bubble thinking that you good enough to even have a man to pay all your bills, and now you're not getting that, and now you're about to be 30. So like, life is humbling people, and I love to see it because people love the clown decisions we made, love the clown and question the things that we doing and everything. But our trajectory, literally since we met, has been so. Oh, that look like.
What the hell was that? What are you doing over here? It's getting late. Don't do it again.
I'm just saying, cause I love to talk my ish because people are just, I'm like very, very aware. Like, I see the subtweets, I see the shade, I see it all. So it's just funny because it's like, you guys are real quiet about that. I'm gonna have a man that pays my rent. Now that you're 30, still living at home, it's getting real quiet. So yeah, I think a lot of people do need to be humbled, and I don't think it's gonna happen for everyone. Like you said, there's always gonna be some excuse. People are always gonna have some type of excuse for why they're.
What's the number one excuse for women?
The number one excuse for women is
men.
Men, yeah. Yeah, this man held me back. That's why I didn't get my degrees, because he held me back. Okay, then why did I get 2 in 5 years while in a relationship with somebody I went to school with all those 4 years? That was an undergrad. Seen him every day. We took naps when we shouldn't have, but we still finished on time. And MBA coming in 6 days. People just always have an excuse. It's like, oh, like, yeah, I didn't get my degree because that man held me back. Yeah, okay, yep, he held you back. Like, it's just so many excuses. Like, but in all that time, you could have been getting your degree. And I just peeped your shade too. We're gonna talk about that on camera. I'm not playing with you, but I'm not playing with you.
Go ahead and finish what you're saying.
Like, it's always so many excuses. And like, all the time that you could have spent getting a degree, you was probably spending on stupid stuff. That same reason when they look the way they look. Yeah, why are you so overweight? Oh, it's because my man held me back. Like, he made me lazy. He keeps feeding me. Like, it's always relationship weight. No, laziness. Oh man, I can't. People kill me with the excuses. Like, that's why I don't make excuses. When I say, like, well, sometimes I do. I'm not gonna lie, but my excuses do be valid sometimes. Like, work gets in the way. Like, I have a demanding career. Like, potentially up to 60 hours work week. We filed our statements today. Thank God. So
excuses and reasons are two different things.
Yeah, those are reasons. Like, those are valid reasons why sometimes, like, I can't get my studying. But when I say about my CPA studying, a lot of it is me taking accountability. Yeah, I'm lazy. Like, I literally wrote on the board, stop being lazy. Like, I'm not making excuses. I have reasons when it's busy at work. But outside of those reasons, I don't have any valid excuse. So I'm going to get it done. But people won't make that excuse. Oh, if my man held me back, that's why I couldn't get my certification. It's because I'm in a relationship. Then why me being in a relationship? Well, single people be saying that too. Single people be like, oh, I'm focusing on my career. No man's going to hold me back. Then why me in a relationship? I'm farther in life than you.
What does that mean? I don't want to kill.
People swear being.
I don't want to kill this topic because we've been talking about this for a while.
Yeah, and I only have one topic after this.
But what does that mean? Because I never actually understood what focusing on your career means.
Because I think people. I mean, this is could be a valid reason. I think people feel like when you're in a relationship, you're more likely to be like lazy. Like, from musician standpoints, I heard there'll be times where they should be in the studio and their man would be like, oh, let's just lay up. Like, when you should be in the studio. From our perspective, it's be like, okay, you should be studying for your CPA exam, but instead you might be cuddling and like. But for me, that's still excuses because like that girl we watch on YouTube, has been in a relationship and you be seeing she got her CPA in like 5 months. It's just excuses, like. But don't blame men for that. If you feel like you as a person aren't focused enough to be in a relationship and get yourself together, then to be single. But don't try to blame like on men. Like, no man's gonna hold me back. Like, No, you're not gonna hold yourself back. Don't blame it on a man. You're not gonna hold yourself back. That's why you're gonna choose to be single. Don't be like, no man's gonna hold me back. No man's holding you back. And anything, you should have a partner that's motivating you. That'll be like, get up, like go study. You know,
like me, I'm clowning you every day.
Yeah, you maybe I'm mad.
I try to make you feel bad about yourself.
Yeah, and now that you said you better get a certification, I'm like, oh no.
And I'm really gonna get it.
Yeah, but then I'm gonna study.
I know. I bet.
I am.
Okay.
Because it's a competition.
It's not a competition.
It's friendly didn't we talk about this before? Friendly competition.
It doesn't exist.
We talked about this on the pod. It does.
It's not a competition.
It's not a competition. It's a collaboration for a beautiful life for our kids.
It is a collaboration.
It is. It's a collaboration. Because we trying to get a nice house. We trying to get our kids are gonna be more spoiled than we were.
If I feel
to Disney every year.
If I'm competing with you in something, then I don't like you. Because there's nothing I would want more to somebody I'm competing with than for them to fail.
That's true, because that's what you hope for your competitor.
Or that's if I don't like them personally. Or I may like you personally, and I'm. How do I explain it? Win. Like, if I feel like I'm in competition with you, I actually don't wish you fail. I actually hope you're very successful because that's only going to make me more mad.
And make you more.
And make me more successful. So I actually don't want somebody to fail because then that doesn't better me.
But that's why I said friendly competition thing, because it could be friendly. Like, it could be you don't want them to fail, but it won't necessarily make you mad, but it'll just make you more motivated.
I'm not motivated by your successes.
At all?
No. I had somebody try to like force me to say that I was motivated to get the job I'm at now because you got your job. And I was like, that's so far from like...
No, I don't. That doesn't make sense to me. Because me and you already had a plan that we was only staying on our first house for a year. So
I was like,
it was just stuff, just how the timing.
I was like, I promise you, somebody else isn't making me want to make more money.
You was,
like I would
before
want
I
more
even
money.
Before I even applied to that job, you was talking about you want to leave.
So for me, it's not a competition thing. I want to see you do well, and that's all it is. It's not.
So it's a collaboration.
It's not really anything. I just want to see you do well, and that's it. There's no. I want to see you do well, so I get some sort of low key, because to me, friendly competition is low key jealousy or low key like, oh, she did that well, now I got to one up her. Like, to me, that's not. There's no friendliness in that. No. That's like I think spiteful kind of thing. Like, oh, she's making more money than me. Let me go harder and let me go quit my job here and go somewhere else just because my significant other's making more money. Like, that seems to me to not be friendly at all. It seems low key like you got some underlying issues there.
It's like you're being motivated though. It's like, oh, she, if she could do it, I could do it too. Like, I'm motivated.
I know we're going to disagree on this, but I'm saying for me personally, I can't be in friendly competition with anybody because that to me, there has to be some level of like
it could
jealousy or something. Lead to that. Because
and it never ends well because I feel like everybody who I've had in my life who gave me competitive vibes are all not in my life anymore. And I feel like it never ends well because it's like at a certain point when you are just succeeding so much and they can't keep up anymore, they get mad. They switch. And it's no longer friendly. It's just hate.
Yeah.
So I agree. I would say it's just we want to see each other do well, and it's partially a collaboration because we're collaborating on creating a great life for ourselves and our kids.
You know what the funny thing is too? I don't even as much as I view us as it being a collaboration and partnership, I view it so much more as an individual thing too, because no matter what you
at the end of the day,
no matter what all I want to see you do is to do the things you say you want to do. Whatever that is. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care really what you do. Whatever you say you want to do, that's all I care about. Because I'm going to be okay no matter what, and I'm going to strive for the moon. I'm going to go try to be 100 gazillionaire on my own regardless. So I know I'll be fine whether you do whatever you want or not. Like, if you don't end up making, basically what I'm trying to say, if you don't end up making $20 million a year, like, I don't care. Like, that to me, like, whether you make that or you don't make that, it's not going to change my motivation.
But don't you still feel like you want somebody who's successful and that you're like in a relationship with? Like, you wouldn't want somebody who just, I mean, I think at this point we kind of both prove it to ourselves the type of things we could achieve.
Like, basically, like, to explain it like this, if you only for the rest of your life ever made what you make now, that wouldn't bother me.
Well, yeah, because I think what I make is good.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if that's what you want to do,
I want to get to.
Because it's almost like what you said before.
I need to make $20,000 more.
You said
where I want to be.
You said you you're fine with your career being just like a middle manager.
Yeah, I actually seen a TikTok like that too. It was like, I'm like, the person was like, am I the only person that doesn't strive to be like climb the corporate ladder? Like, I'm okay with just being like a manager forever. I'm like, yeah, low key, like I'm actually okay with that. Like, I don't have no goals to be a CEO, a CFO, a controller, even a director or a VP at my job. Like, I don't have no desire for that. The highest level I would even be happy at is just manager.
Right.
And I'm okay with that.
So to me, that doesn't bother me because that's not how I feel personally. Because I'm just psycho and I want to see, like, whether it's physical stuff, because, like, you see me trying to push myself physically to the limit of, like, whether it's running an amount of time I probably shouldn't, or, like, working out, like, several times a day when I probably shouldn't. Like, whatever it is, like, I do a lot to the extreme to push myself to see how far I can go. For me, I would push myself to be in a place of like a chief executiveship or something like that.
Yeah, I guess.
So just because you're not doing that, it doesn't change my motivation at all.
No, yeah, I get that. That's why, yeah.
So,
but I still do feel, well, okay, I get it doesn't change your motivation, but I was saying, like, don't you still feel like for the collaborative purposes, like, because, you know, when you do build a life for your kids, that is still a collaboration. Like, when the house that we end up ultimately getting would still be my contribution and yours. So it's like you still, like, that still needs to be, like, I feel kind of close to equal level of success. But it doesn't have to be equal, because if you get to a point where you're making like $200K more than me, that would just be you just make more money. But my contribution probably wouldn't even be existing at that point. You wouldn't even want it. You wouldn't even need it.
But that's what I mean. Like,
at the end of the day, you're still gonna build a life that you want. And I'm just, like, if I'm here and I could contribute to that heavily or not, it doesn't matter. Is what you're saying.
Yeah. So there's no friendly competition, no one-upping, nothing. It's really, I just view myself as an individual, and I'm going to go jump and get these goals, because it's not like you're like, if I became a chief operating officer or something for some company, it's not like that's my personal accomplishment. That's not your accomplishment. So I still view myself as an individual, but I will accomplish that goal and then bring back the riches and the benefits of that to the collaborative partnership. So there's never a time where it's friendly. Yeah. There's never a competition.
I mean, I think there could still just be motivation that happens. There could still be motivation.
It's not even motivation though.
But I think it could exist though.
But you know why? Because, like, exactly what you were saying, like, you wanted to be if you want to be a middle manager, you're gonna feel you shouldn't feel any motivation by how high I want to go or
that's true.
Went.
That's why I feel at a certain point, then it goes away. I think up to this point that we're at now, the motivation still exists, because if I see you studying for your CFA, I'm definitely gonna be all right. Like, get it together, like get the CPA done, so you guys can have a certification each. I think at that point, once we go beyond that, I think the motivation will still exist, but not as high, because like I said, we literally started, like, if you think about it, we started our adult lives together. We met at the same exact age. We met in college, like that pivotal point where you're actually building your career and your future. We got our first jobs at the same time, got our first cars at the same time, started our new jobs around the same time, you know, got salary increases around the same time. Like, everything happened simultaneously, so the motivation was easy to have, you know, and it was like, and just natural. Like, we was in school studying together. Like, the motivation was just naturally there. I feel like now the motivation still is there, because, like, you know, promotions, new jobs after this, certifications, and then I feel like at a certain point, once I get to the kind of where I want to plateau at and you keep going, I think the motivation won't be needed. And I don't think the motivation was even needed up to this point. I just think it just happens naturally. So you are kind of your environment. That's why you got to cut the bum friends off, because then you end up falling down with them and be like, ooh, being a bum.
What else we got?
Ooh, I wait for any opportunity to throw shade. People be like, let that hurt go. Don't wish bad on your enemies. I'd be like, I wish bad on them.
Do we care about this next one?
This was just like a brief thing. We could just briefly talk about it, but everybody knows, like, I don't even know their names, but that white girl, that OnlyFans model that kills her black Nigerian American boyfriend. The video came out of them fighting in the elevator. It was like months before she killed him, but obviously she got arrested finally for it, as like a suspect months later. Like, this happened in April, but there was videos of months prior to the murder showing them tussling in the elevator. She was obviously the aggressor, and it just brought back, like, how, you know, because this happened months ago, and you saw social media's reaction when it first happened, because they dug up his old tweets. First of all, he was Nigerian American, So I don't think his words reflect the Black American community. I want to make that clear because a lot of Black American men, I don't think hate our women as much as like I think a lot of that stuff that we get, it gets a kind of mixy because you have a lot of immigrants.
That shit sucks.
And it's a lot of the African people that come over here and have that mindset, but it gets all looked upon as all African Americans when it's like, no, we're our own thing. Black American men love Black American women. Like our ethnic group literally has that pride. Like we don't see that in our community as much.
I want to jump in because I think the whole term Black man,
it includes everybody.
It includes anybody with melanin.
It's so annoying.
Which is frustrating because like what's homeboy's name that does all that?
Tariq.
Yeah.
Nasheed.
One of the probably the key important points that he brought up in his discussion with academics was the concept of when he was talking about 6ix9ine and all the people that were in the Bloods and stuff like that. He was like, all those people, not all of them, but like not all of them are Black Americans. Like just the same.
Especially in New York, our immigration.
It's crazy. There's Africans,
flooded.
Jamaicans. There's all types of people that are in the hood doing these types of stuff. These types of things.
And a lot of like people from Latin America, like Dominican Republic.
So, but when you see the mugshots, you see the dark melanin, and you just assume, oh, they're just a Black man. But it's like, not exactly.
Yeah.
Because they could be the descendants of. Like their parents could literally be from Africa.
Immigrants.
Like so, it's not really.
Straight off the plane.
It's not really the same thing. But yeah, 100%. Like.
And they're the ones that like that. A lot of that stuff when you hear like that hating Black women thing comes from that community. Like the way they hate women in that continent. It's not like that. How we are over here all like they treat women like class citizens. Black American men do not do that. There's always been pride in our communities for our Black women and protection. Are all of them perfect and like that? No, I'm not gonna say they are.
Just like they're not perfect in any
place,
any society.
But I noticed that's like the heavy influence and the heavy amount. Like you see these things, and it just becomes Black men. It's like no, let's make it clear. This was a Nigerian man.
Yeah, he's not from
Nigerian American man.
He's not from here.
Like let's make that clear. Like rest in peace to him. But like it's just annoying because like when those tweets came out, it's just like it just gets added onto this I hate Black men campaign, and it's like nah. Black American men are not like that. Like it's not like it's not meant for us to be. Like, I mean, not really meant, but it's not like in our community to be that way. Because there's always been like a pride. All we had was each other. Like when it was us, like, we're literally in the belly of the beast of white supremacy. It was us against the white people. It was never like in Africa. It's them against themselves and tribes. Like it's not color. Here it was color. We all protected ourselves by color. So let's make that clear. But so yeah, that happened. The video got released, and I'm in the elevator. And so, it brought up the topic again because, like I said, his old tweets got surfaced. And when he first died, he were Black women like, oh, well, like turning the other cheek, like, oh, I don't see, I'm blind. Like, I mean, rightfully so. Like, it was some derogatory tweets. And like, yeah, he was 17. But at 17, I mean, you're still kind of old enough. But I'm not going to. No, you're not. Cause my tweets at 17 were bad, so let me not say that.
No, you come on, yo.
Okay, yeah, we shouldn't be judging him about his tweets at 17.
No, we should.
Okay, we should.
Is my angle because I get tired of shit like that.
Yeah.
Because, and we got to stop with the excuses, right? Because because we do the whole it's how you're raised kind of thing. Even if you were raised improperly, naturally right from wrong. What's right from wrong? Like me at 17, I was in college at 17.
That's true. I wasn't on our own.
I was in college at 17. I wasn't tweeting anything derogatory about any sort of women. I wasn't degrading women on the internet. Certainly not to anybody's face.
And then you see who he ended up dating. Yeah, those tweets from 8 years ago, but clearly those sentiments were true.
Right, and he still feels that way. So like, we got to stop that. Even at 16, like I've done stupid shit just like anybody else would do at that age, but nothing along those sort of lines. Like I was never disparaging of women. Like that part of me has never changed. It's always been what it is. Like
there's never insults.
Yeah, never insulting women. Oh, she this, she that. Like we ain't doing that, yo.
Yeah. So he knew better.
He probably didn't, but we have to just stop giving that whole like, oh,
giving
they're just young.
Grace. Yeah.
Like even 15, like, because I'm looking at myself, and maybe it was the way that I'm raised, and maybe I'm just privileged in that stance, but we're not degrading women, especially Black women specifically, calling them different names, saying I hate them and they're this and they're that. Like we're never doing. First of all, we're never doing that about any women anyway.
Yeah.
Really about anybody. Like
especially from a woman that literally like birth you.
Like, we're not doing stupid. That. So I'm not giving him any leeway. Like
post-mortem.
Because what did he say?
Let me see if I can find it.
Even no matter what he said.
I don't know his name. It was like something long.
Tweeting or saying anything really about like, I don't know, man. It's just, yeah. 17 is old enough.
Oh, his name was only Christian. That was an easy name. I thought it was long. Something like long. His last name was...
Because I was driving at 17.
Yeah.
I was about to vote the next year. Like, there's a lot of responsibilities that come with that.
Yeah, if they give you... Yeah.
You should know.
So, black girls are born knowing how to shake. Honestly, I don't care. Not my type. I'm tired of these black girls in my government class, full of ignorant black women. Black girls aren't the only ones who could cook in the world. The way black girls disgrace themselves on TV. So there's a lot of just random tweets. Nothing like crazy. Alice has me thinking about how much I want mixed babies. I feel like only yellow-bone girls can pull off nose rings. So just, random stupid little tweets.
So he just one of those that like hates himself.
Yeah, because he was ugly. I'm sorry, that's mean. But he was kind of ugly. So it was like, all right, sorry, rest in peace. But like, it just kind of like, I don't know. Like, I get black women not caring. Like, okay, this is what you want, and look what happened. Like, I don't think any murder should justify. Obviously, I'm not justifying a murder, but it was almost like you said all this about black women being ignorant and loud and ghetto, and look what happened. That's ghetto. Murder is ghetto.
And the funny thing about these situations, whenever people die, is that they never learn a lesson because they don't know that
they
don't
dead.
Know they
dead. Yeah. But he was getting beat on, so he had to have known. And that he was in a crazy situation. So yeah, so obviously with her getting arrested, like social media reaction, it resurfaced, so people not caring. But then something that did kind of annoy me though, you start seeing tweets of like, oh, so see, this is why you should have got a black woman. Like, black women don't be doing this stuff, like the beating in the elevator. I'm like, let's not do that, because black women, honestly, lots of times they be doing that stuff too, like a lot. They're putting their hands on men, and it's women of all races I think do that. Probably not all though, because like in the Middle East, I know they don't get that off at all.
Shh, we ain't even gotta talk about that.
Yeah, okay. Public beheading.
Relax. We ain't even gotta talk about that.
But like, so I don't think it's all races, but definitely white and black women and Spanish women do that. The beating and hitting each other and domestic abuse and violence that happens towards men, and the what would you call it? Antagonizing. That stuff is very common in our community. So I'm like, let's not do that. Like, we could judge him and his decision and stuff, but let's not act like black women don't be doing worse. Like we didn't just see and talk about Christian and Blueface last week. Like, let's not do that.
They might question whether those are the pillars of black examples. Are they both fully black?
I don't know,
because
they look very ambiguous.
They're rice skinned.
They look ambiguous. You're right. And I was just defending the Black American community, which I'm going to keep doing. But, we're not perfect. Our community has a lot of that.
Just like anybody else.
We have a lot of domestic abuse.
But that should never be the answer, that, you should have got at anybody because
the abuse and the killing. No, because that stuff happens everywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I could agree with the whole, if you want to turn your cheek and not care, fine. Because I don't really care, to be honest. But that reaction kind of threw me off. I'm like, all right, but that's not what we're not going to do, because domestic abuse is something that we need to fix in our community, and it happens a lot with women towards men, and it's never talked about. It's always funny, and when it's not. So, but yeah, she's in jail now, I think. But it is crazy how it took so long for her to get arrested. Like, you would have thought it would be so obvious that she did it. Like, I feel like if it was the other way around, a black woman and a black man, a black woman would have been arrested like immediately.
Was she on the run?
I don't think so. Like, I think she was still posting out getting drinks the next night. Yeah, literally. She posted her getting drinks the next night. Like, psychotic. Psychopath. And she's the OnlyFans model. There's another tweet. I can't believe thinks I talk to black girls when I don't. So, just always making little stupid tweets.
Listen, I don't believe karma in a literal sense, because he's not saying kill black women and then ended up like being killed by a white woman. But I believe in what you put out is going to come back.
Yep. No
matter what it is. Because going out of your way to there shouldn't even be this many references of that many tweets from one person.
And isn't it sad that people, like, that's the first thing people had to do was look to see the tweets because you knew it probably existed because of, him dating a white girl. Yeah. And I went to a predominantly white school, so I've seen this so many times. I've seen the tweets. I've heard the things. I've seen it.
I saw an example when we were just out running, and I'm like, I don't get it. Like, not to disparage anybody else's races, but like, I don't see how you look at a black woman and as a black man. That's what you grew up in your community, like that.
And that's when you look in the mirror, you're black. Like that's what somebody said. Like they feel like if you date outside your race, like you don't really love yourself at the end of the day. Because there's like no way you look at yourself in the mirror and see you and be like, I love being black, and not marry and have kids and continue that.
People,
there's no way.
I don't know why we got killed for it, but on that LeBron on the Bronny's prom date video,
people didn't watch the whole thing.
Yeah, they didn't enjoy the amount of work that we put into
exactly. Because I'm all for black love. I'm not interracial at all.
Well, I don't know if you saw all of the comments, but a lot of them were about like they just must have not watched it, but they didn't. They were talking about like they thought we were upset that he was dating a white person.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. That was
we weren't upset. We literally said he could do him, and that's just not our thing. That's all we said. I said, "Do you?" We were just giving all the reasons why we think that's why the path he went down, and we just said that's not our.
I think they were European.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure a bunch of them were European.
White people are just sensitive. They can't take any criticism or critique of them, or they get mad when our critique of our community involves them.
I think that the biggest feedback we got from that video was them not understanding because they're not from America, so they don't understand why we talk about race all the time.
Yeah, when the thing is, like, race really became a thing here. Like, I don't think people realize like I said, we live in the belly of the beast of, like, white supremacy and racism and race being a construct. All that started here. Separating people by race and stuff, I'm pretty sure it started here, right? So I'm like, how do you not understand? I mean, I get that they don't think that's not their culture, but they're still so racist over there. So I don't get how they don't get it.
I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, she was at like a bar. Like, this was her literally like the day after the murder. I got a bar.
Yeah, I mean, we don't condone murders. Yeah.
So they're trying to say that she acted in self-defense and that he committed a forcible felony and gained access to her apartment. So they're going to try to villainize him. But we seen the video. Did you see the video?
Of the shooting?
No, of them fighting in an elevator.
No.
I'll show you real quick. It wasn't like crazy, but obviously you could tell like it was. Maybe he knew there was a camera in there. I'm not trying to say that he was like aggressive with her too, but you could see that she was an aggressor here, and like obviously you hear stories from the friends like that were around. The crazy part was when she pulled his braids. He had those little braids. He like snatched them and they came loose. Like not the braids didn't unravel, but like when you connect them, they came like a little unravel. 19 seconds, Jesus. But yeah, like. The video just shows them like fighting and stuff, and like she's obviously the aggressor in the video. Like she's the one that's really hitting him, and you can tell it's more so him trying to calm her down, like type hits. But I mean, we don't know everything, but I mean, this video is pretty telling, and then you hear the stories from the friends. So it was like, let's start. Yeah. Oops.
People do anything but leave.
Exactly, because he could have left too. And like if you did gain access to her apartment trying to get her back, right? Just end the relationship, like. That's when she pulled the braids. Her punches look very weak, but women are crazy, right? Cause they'll do all this, but then you hit them back and it's he hit me. Call the police. Call the police. Like what? And the fact that she, like, stabbed him is so crazy. How was it self-defense if she had no defense wounds? But you can see he's not, like, hitting her, right? He's just trying to stop her.
Mm-hmm.
So her story might fumble just off this video. Showing that she was, like, aggressive with him all the time. I can't imagine being in a relationship like that. Like, our relationship is so calm and peaceful. Like, when I see somebody, I just get itchy and, like, ugh. I love peace. Don't you love peace? Don't you love peace? I don't argue with you. We don't fight. We don't physically fight. We don't argue at all. We don't yell. It's very peaceful here.
This had nothing to do with us.
You come home to peaceful, loving environments.
This topic has nothing to do with us.
I'm just saying, like, seeing stuff like that makes me realize, like, we're very, like, we're rare. I don't think we're rare at all. I don't
all
know.
Right.
We're just not glorified enough. People don't want to see the good, so they won't retweet or love real love.
They just don't like you.
Yeah, they're haters.
No, they just don't like your personality.
No, they're haters.
No, they just don't like your personality.
I don't care.
That's why they don't repost you.
No,
they don't. They don't.
They do on TikTok. They like me on TikTok.
I'm sure that's because they don't know you.
I got 1,000 followers.
The people that know you don't like you because of your arrogance.
No, they don't.
Or perceived.
They don't like me because of my confidence.
Or your perceived arrogance.
It's confidence.
I said perceived arrogance.
But a lot of people who know me know what I've been through, and they know me, and they know like that I came a long way.
Thank you guys for watching.
So they just haters because
this
they
has been the A Couple of Things podcast.
The skinny little ugly duckling Mal turn into a goddess with the body that they want.
All right.
And relationships and a good life.
Goodbye, y'all.
So they're just jealous.